was crucial that I do due diligence. Max knew how to word his introduction to me.
Sometimes I wanna risk it all since you left me. Struggle, baby, I see pain. Cause I got nothing. Can someone tell me they see good in me? There's good in me.
Hello. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Sine Hope, and on this channel we are on 100 subscribers. Boop, 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 boop. Help me celebrate that by liking, sharing a comment. If you like this video, please do share this video, and if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. It is free of charge in case you didn't know. And today we come with a story time how I was swindled on a dating app. Yes, how I got scammed, how I am a victim of not just GBV, but also a victim of an online dating site scam. So how the story goes is, boy meets girl on a dating app. Girl pings boy. Okay, I don't know how to say this properly, but this is the story time how I was sick and tired of being single. As always, like I have said in the previous videos, that I am usually single for a long time. So this time I was single, and I was obviously not meeting the right people, that I liked or I felt compatible with in person. So I decided to join a dating site. I do not remember this dating site. Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't even unsubscribe. I just left it there. So I joined this dating site, and man, I went on a couple of dates, one or two, just wasn't working out. And one thing about me on dating sites is the fact that I will forget that I joined a dating site after dating. So my mouth gets quite dry when I'm speaking. So I'm going to be drinking water while I speak. Sorry for that. So I was on this dating site. So when I'm on a dating site, I just don't commit to saying I'm gonna check the notifications thoroughly. I mean, like often, even if they do come in, they bore me and I block them. So this was the case. And so one day I remember that I joined this dating site, and on this dating site I read this message that was sent from this guy. For the sake of this story time, we're going to name him Max. I met Maxi. Max knew how to word his introduction to me. So he liked me, he sent me a message, and goddamn was girl swept off her feet. Goddamn was girl swept off her feet. With just his words. So I respond, this is 4 or 5 days later, I think 5 to be exact, and he responds, I tell him that, well, this is something quite new for me. I am not very dating sites aren't really my thing. And he's like, all right, sweetheart, no problem, you are forgiven for, okay, that's not what he said, but yeah, you are forgiven for the late response. So the following day, I think we chatted. Then the next day he calls me. This guy understands exactly who I am. I haven't told him a thing, by the way, but he calls me via a normal call. He doesn't even WhatsApp me. He doesn't even WhatsApp call me. So guy is not trying to get into my panties with my data. Guy is, he is the cream. He's the Woolworths, the kind of guy that I like. That will take time to calling me. It took him about 2 days before we went on, 2 or 3 days before we went to WhatsApp video calling. He took time to know me. And obviously girl was impressed. Who wouldn't be? And so while talking, obviously we need to make plans to meet. And he tells me that probably we should meet on a, how about we go grooving on a, on a Friday. And he tells me that after groove perhaps we will have to stay over my place. So in the conversations in between, I had discovered that he had told me rather that he stays with his family. He has tenants up until, so this is November, early November. He has tenants at his place up until end of Feb. He just came back into the country. And he's just given his tenants notice. And while out of the country, he decided to rent out his apartment so that it can pay for itself. So that I understand, that makes financial sense. And I don't know what about this guy had me so much that I believed everything that he said. And I was breaking my own rules. Rule number one, I don't allow people to come to my place. Never mind, unless it's a platonic relationship with a male species. So with him, I was willing to have him come over to my place and whatever. So while we're planning for this, obviously we're video calling, and almost every night now, getting to know each other. I tell him my plans, what's gonna happen. So we and the dance team, we're going to have a trip to Durban for the nationals, and he seems eager to join us and ask if it would be possible that he comes with. And I'm like, sure, I can squeeze you in with the transport. What you would have to do now is book separately, because we can't book you where we're booking the kids. Fine, that goes well. And then it's time for us to meet. The guy distances himself. He suddenly becomes unavailable, unable to answer my calls. I leave him, it's okay. Come the time that we need to go, he keeps slowly coming back. He apologizes. He had a lot to do. He had a lot on his plate. End of year, he had lied to told me that he's a producer or something like that, of an upcoming, still to come, network station, I think, a TV station or a network of stations, I don't remember, but something on those lines. With the year coming to an end, he told me that his schedule had been super crazy busy, and that he was unable to get leave for the days that we will be traveling to Durban. And I totally understand, even though he had previously said that he does have the time. He and assured me that he can travel with us to Durban. Fine. We further communicate while we're in Durban. Guy is taking things slow. Guy is a gentleman. So let me describe a guy for you. So this guy dates women. Usually he checks the waters. He feels for the waters and filters women that can seemingly take care of themselves, that are okay. Because I would presume also those wealthy and single women that are lonely. But as long as I think you can provide for yourself, he doesn't care where you stay, where you live. As long as you're a single woman and don't see him coming, he's going to take advantage of you. He lives in Midrand. He's dark. He's Tonga. Oh, I think I had to say this. This video was inspired by Owamie last year when she started sharing how she was the drama between her and the Ghanaian guy. Um, but yeah, so this guy is Tsonga. He's tall. Now I think he's Bafinyana. The last picture that I saw on Instagram of him, he's a little buff. And yeah, he swindles women. He meets women on different dating apps. And, you know, if you're a weak link like I was to him, you know, he takes advantage. Apparently, I got off, you know, uh, with light bruises compared to what other women, you know, get out, what he gets out of other women. So the holidays come up. This trip happens. I come back home after the trip. I didn't even go back to Joburg, and you know, conversation is smooth, conversation is nice. We can't wait to meet each other, update him on when I'm coming back to Joburg and whatnot. So this guy visits me for the very first time. And Ugal is dry, guys. Like when you've been single for the longest of time, I think also your head doesn't work. It is just you need head. Your head is just seemingly does not work, that you need some head, you need some action. So me and Guy on the day, you know, things get heated, you know, in the evening, and you know, we want to get it done with. And I asked for CDs, I asked for condoms, guys. That the guy does not have a condom. We need to go get him a condom. We go. So somewhere along, there was a garage close by, but before you get to the garage, there was a, what you call this, a nightclub. He suggests we go to a nightclub and go get condoms. They usually at nightclubs there are condoms by the toilet, and I'm like, sorry dear, I don't use free condoms. So, and then we go to the garage. When we get to the garage, that was a red flag already, but I was just too dry and too thirsty to notice. We get to the garage. Guy had forgotten. He doesn't have any money on him. He doesn't have, you know, he just forgot his wallet at home. Bah, 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 bah. Because thirst. Because drought. I used my money for our first condoms. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just thought, I don't think it was gonna get. It was the right thing to do. That's not the first, you know, especially. But it happened, man. Let's not dwell on that. So, a guy keeps coming on. You know, he keeps coming. He comes the following weekend. We sort of bonding, and at this time I'm seeing nothing wrong. Oh gosh, guy gives me his password to his phone. He's taken an interest to dance. He is, you know, coming with me to church. You know what, I've hit the jackpot. And one thing, and this is what my sister, how I answered my sister when she asked me why was I so dumb in him. I mean, like, with this whole situation, guy is posting me on social media. I had never been posted on social media. His Instagram, this was before TikTok, or before TikTok was popular rather. His Instagram on Facebook, love of my life, church vibes with Bay. Guys, I was a gone girl. I was really a gone girl. That's how I was feeling at the time. So one day, it was a Wednesday, we have a meeting in Tembisa, because that's where I used to dance. We have a meeting with the guy, you know, with the dance team in Tembisa, and at this point my car is not okay, and therefore I'm using public transport. So the meeting was going to go until late, so I was going to Uber. Coincidentally, he was also, oh, also let me tell you what this guy drives actually. This guy drives a BMW. Yes, a 1 Series, but no swindler, according to me. Crazy at the time. No scam artist, no con artist, would drive a 1 Series. Plus, he also comes from a wealthy home. His house, from those video calls, his home is a mansion. Never would you think, Uguti, you are going to get scammed. And instead, you think that you are the one who hit the jackpot by getting. And yeah, so you think you'd hit the jackpot, sort of this guy, an entire me and nobody, has this guy who is head over heels over me, and always says the nicest things, knows how to compliment me. I mean, like, this guy, at the time I thought that this guy is seen from heaven. Like, all my worst relationships, my men are always just sent for me from heaven. Where have you been all my life? Where are okay, now that we are here, I'm going to worship the ground you walk on. That's the biggest mistake of my life. I hope I have learned. So coincidentally, he's in Tembisa on this day, and he offers to come pick me up. I sent him location. He comes pick me up. On the way home, babe, had I not come pick you up, what were you going to use? I'm like, I was going to request to go home. So how much is it from here? And I tell him, babe, you know what? You should hire me. And I'm like, please. One, I have a car. I don't always use public transports. Two, you're my boyfriend. Why must I hire you for coming to pick up? God damn, man. Red flag number two, that I turned a blind eye to. And that day, so I need to reverse. So while I was home during my last day at home, I had been bitten by a dog and needed to take treatment for the rabies, against rabies. So I was getting injections, and to avoid the queues at to avoid queues and save on money, I was getting my injections privately from my sister's boyfriend. And one day I had gone to get my injections, and from work, it was sunny. The entire day was sunny. I don't know, I was there for less than an hour, or less than 30 minutes. When I came out, the weather had turned in a 180, and on it turning on a 180, it was super cold. So my sister's boyfriend gives me his jacket, and on the day of the meeting, when this guy had come, on the day that this guy had come, given me a lift, fetched me from dance practice. For once, I wasn't driving myself. For once, from practice, or it was a meeting on that day, but from dance related, I wasn't driving myself. I wasn't taking I wasn't sorting my transportation on myself. Guys, I was being fetched. Girl had levels, girl had elevated, girl begajola. Understand me, please. And so guy needs to go back home because he was in Tembisa, sent by his mom for certain reasons. So now that he's going home, and the weather is bad, he has already eyed. This is a side note. He's already eyed on my sister's boyfriend's jacket. So he asked for a jacket. I offered to give him my jacket. Obviously, he's a man. It didn't fit. So he takes my sister's boyfriend's jacket, and I'm like, it's not my jacket, and I won't let you use a jacket that's not mine. He says, "Oh, babe, but please, I'll make sure to bring it on Friday when I come back, all washed up." And I'm like, he convinces me to give him this jacket, even though I did not agree, even though I did not want to. Fine, he goes with the jacket. Did the jacket not ever come back? No. Stories were told about this jacket, never ending stories. Fast forward, then on that day, the jacket day, my camera goes missing. I don't notice this at first, but then I do realize when I want to use a camera. So this is early in the year, and only about 4 people had come to my place. It's him who was frequent. It is my ex-dance partner. It is a lady that had come help me clean the house. It is my neighbor, Ayand. So him, my boyfriend, comes from, who is well studied, well educated, comes from a well-off family, could never steal. To the lady that came to clean my house, she came with absolutely nothing, and she left with things that I had packed myself, a few things that I gave away to her, and I was there the entire day. She ate here, I made food for the both of us. I'm 100% sure it wasn't the lady that was helping me with, with the apartment. To my ex-dance partner had come to my place a million times, had numerous sleepovers, nothing had been missing. So, and then the fourth person was Ayanda, my neighbor. Ayanda had been to my place a number of times. The only time she stole in my head was when I had to justify where's the salt. The salt that I had put in the fridge, and only Ayanda had to be to my place. And to make myself feel better, in my head, I made out, even though, using common sense, I knew that Ayanda wouldn't have did not steal. What would she do with salt? Come on. And so everybody else. So I thought I misplaced the camera. So I call him, I tell him, he'll say, Joe, baby, I saw the camera, I'll help you. And during the weekend, I'll help you look for a camera. We'll do our own spring cleaning, as if this lady that had come did not do a proper job. Okay, fine. Oh, hold on. Let's backtrack a bit. When this guy had said that, obviously this was a guy that I met online, so it was obviously it was crucial that I do due diligence and checked him out. So I had checked him out. I had Googled him. I had a background of who his mother is. And even though that's not the reason why I dated him or fell for him, like I said, from the first, text that he sent on the few days of chatting with him or to him, I was already taken. So I already, thought I'd do that. Who fixed a LinkedIn profile? So this guy, when he said he was out of the country, hence he had to rent off his apartment, on LinkedIn he had said he'd been studying in Australia. And the fact that he did not tell me that he had been studying in Australia was a plus up, because I don't like people that boast. I rather something come up in a conversation, and you don't go around telling people your business that you did not ask for. And he hadn't been in detail, he hadn't told me details of why he was abroad, and I hadn't probed to ask why was he abroad. And I felt that should the relationship work, it will come in a conversation, it will come up on its own. So yeah, day of the jacket, no jackets. So things start missing. Things are missing in my place. But one day I can't see my old phone. Wada. Things are missing. But I'm not paying too much sense to it. Too much attention to it until my sister's birthday. I needed to travel to Durban for my sister's birthday. And this time I was so excited. So freaking excited that this time I have a boyfriend. I have somebody to take me to the airport. Please understand, girl is always single. Girl is tired of always making plans for herself, getting herself to the airport, nobody to take her, nobody to even fetch her when she comes back. So for once in my life, boyfriend and I had arranged that, and to the gods, I'm grateful that didn't happen. That he was going to come and take me to the airport on the set date. I had an early morning flight. I think I had a 6 a.m. flight, meaning I needed to be, checked in by 5:15 or 5:05, something like that. And the day before, we would have a goodbye lunch or dinner. Lunch. Comes lunchtime, guy is nowhere to be seen. No, I mean, like, nowhere to be found on the phone. He calls back, there's a roadblock where you just after you leave his place and whatnot. So I decided to have some custard. Yes, I filled up the glass because I can. Guy has been stuck in a roadblock. At that time his car was, driving with I should call this an expired license disc. So he tells me that, what they need, he needs to pay each other 200 rands, and can I please quickly send it to him. He's going to give it to him now. At this point, he's told me his financial struggles, that he is a tenderpreneur, and also this new job. Actually, that just didn't make sense, and I didn't pay much attention to it. And this new job, wara is starting, but on the side, he's a businessman with multiple businesses, and so money hasn't cleared up. It's going to clear. Wara. So may I please? I gladly send the 200 rands. Yes, I became that girlfriend, and because actually that's what it's not abnormal, guys, to do things for your boyfriends. It's just that I think it was too early, and especially now that and this is a rule I had even before him, is that you don't do anything for a guy before he does anything for you. I did not listen to my own rule. I did not follow my own rule. So then the next thing, he tells me that he needs 300 rands more, because his dead uncle, wara. Was a long story. He had a bike was in his name. His uncle had a lot of tickets, so that bike had obtained had gotten a lot of tickets, and they were unpaid, so there was a warrant of arrest on his name, so he needed 300 rand, and I was like, I don't have. Remember, I'm traveling tomorrow, and I'm going to be spending, guys, like I'm going to my sister's birthday celebration, and so okay, then becomes MIA. Sharp in the morning, I'm expecting him to come. He tells me he's going to make a plan. He's just definitely going to be here in the morning. Psychologically, I was not prepared, to do the usual, to take myself to the airport, but I had to. I was running late. I remember that, I thought it was even going to be easy to find transport, because usually they were Taxify. That time it was still called Taxify, so there was Bolt and Ubers always loitering somewhere around where I lived, somewhere around my apartment, and I thought that it would be easy for me to to get transport, and that day was there nobody. Almost got late until I hijacked some taxi, some car, to rush me to the airport, and thank God that I made it on time. I made it just at the nick of time. Went home, went to celebrate my sister's birthday. It was fantastic. I remember I needed to withdraw money. I needed, I got cash. I received cash. That I got cash, and I needed to put it into my account. It was in the sum of 9,000 rand some change. So that 9,000 rand some change, I had spent, a couple of hundred. So what was left was about 8,000 something. So And on my traveling back to from my sister's birthday back to Joburg, this guy says, babe, this is the first weekend we're not spending together. So I will definitely come to your place. When you get home, I'll be waiting for you. Again, the Ayana that stole salt in my head. She tells me, she was such a good neighbor. It was great to have a neighbor at her. When I wasn't around, she'll always have an eye on my apartment. And I was so grateful to her. She tells me what this guy has done. He is putting, and I wouldn't close my bathroom doors. Window. He told me he put his bag in the bathroom window and he's loitering around my mobile kitchen. Okay. I tell him no. I tell her, don't worry. I'm aware of that situation. That is my boyfriend. He's come to me and it's okay. So when I go there, remember, I couldn't request because I had a problematic phone. So even from the airports, I was forced to use the normal cabs, the ones that charged a lot. So these people charged me 100 rands. Meanwhile, it would be up around, depending on the day, it would be around 30 to 50 rands, usually 40 something rands from the airport to my place. So I stay very close to the airport, and these people are spending, we're charging me 100 rands, 120, I think. It started from 180, we negotiated to 100, and we ended up negotiating to 80 rands. And from that 80 rands, I get home. He's happy to see me. What up, babe? I only have 100 rands and 50 rands in my purse from the money that I had received. I asked him, can you give me 30 rands so I have a 50 rand so that I can give. He says, baby, I don't have anything. I was just brought here by my cousin. He's going to pick me up for a meeting in Pretoria tomorrow morning. Does cousin come tomorrow morning? Instead, my babe wakes me up at breakfast in bed. Am I not a lucky woman? A lucky woman, yo. I don't know why my bald head is itchy, guys. But anyway, guy sends me money. Guy sends he doesn't have a cent on him. The following day, guy makes me breakfast in bed. The next thing, he's going home. He's got this meeting. His cousin is no longer coming to fetch him. The next thing, when we go, I go with him because I need to go deposit this money into an ATM. Trying to get to the ATM, and I only have 4,000 rands. Or 4,000 something. 4,000. Guys, my spirits, just as I get this, my spirit just went down. And to be honest, at the time, because my niece was just got into a teenage stage, and teenagers sometimes get to a stage whereby they steal. I went through that stage whereby I steal money. Okay, because that was because my mother wouldn't give me money for thingy. But I went for a couple of months. I went through that stage, hiding, a lot of beating, put me back in the way, and my mother, rather taught me the skills of not to steal and understanding your situation at home and wada. So sharp. I suspected it was my nieces that had stolen the money because I saw them touch the bag that had money. And I didn't want to hurt my sister's feelings by suspecting it was them. So I kept it to myself because you know what? In my culture, your sister's kids are your kids. So I was like, my kids are going through a stage, perhaps. I will find the right way. I need to find the right way to address this with my sister. And shame. I am, just suspecting my kids wrongly, let me say. And at this time, I don't know it was him. Fast forward, one day we go to McDonald's. This is another day now. I'm late for McDonald's, and I don't usually even like McDonald's. So I only eat McDonald's when I'm late for McDonald's. So I tell him I'm late for McDonald's. He says, let's go get it. as if he's going to pay for it. We get to McDonald's. I use the self-service thingamajig, and using that thingamajig, when I was about to punch in my pin, I did check who else can see my pin, and it was just him. And because naive old me trusted him, thought that, you know what, he wouldn't dare, steal my card. So only my bay is behind me, so it is safe to punch in and not hide my pin. So I want you to note one thing about this guy, one thing about me. I'm very trusting. But then when it comes to my place, I don't know what about this guy just did not allow me to trust him. I couldn't trust him. Each time I left the house, I felt that I needed to leave with him. I remember this one time I needed to go to ShopRite, was also just close by. I needed to go to ShopRite. I locked him in the house. I don't know what was wrong with this guy. The only time that this guy could have had a chance to steal everything was when I went to Durban, because I was leaving obviously at 5 a.m. and I wouldn't expect him to drive back to Midrand from Kempton Park, because I no longer stay in Kempton Park. I'm able to say, because I used to live in Kempton Park, drive from Kempton Park to Midrand, in the early AMs and wake up his family. So that day I was going to allow him, and I was going to give him a car. Thank God, what happened, and I didn't. Because about him, I would later learn that he takes women for granted. Once he gets access to the car, he gives you. Like, this person had loved me so much. Yes, and within a short space of time, goes to church with me, gave me his PIN for his phone. He had built trust in the relationship. He does that so that you can trust him, and so that he can loot from you, or he can steal from you. So this particular day, after the McDonald's day, I didn't go to work. I had an early meeting, so I'm like, let's go. And he says, me too. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not leaving anybody in my place. If I go, you go. Fine. I go. While in the meeting, I think I wanted to get myself an early, breakfast in Yana. I realized I don't have my card. One thing about me, I will take the last 2 cents in my card and spoil myself. So anyway, when I'm at the meeting, I realized that my thing is, somebody is trying to, I get a message from my bank, notifying me that I am trying to take money out that I don't have. And those were hard times. So it was just month end. I think it was the 2nd or 3rd of Feb. So the money in my account, would just pay all the bills, all the, debit orders will go through, and then I will be left with nothing. And God will see me through the month, and God always made sure that he sees me through the month. Shame, I'm not gonna lie. And obviously some payments come in between the month, so I was sorted. And then a withdrawal of 140 or 120 goes through. I remember texting this guy saying, where are you? In the middle of the meeting, take a picture of where you're at right now. So this made sense, that how come my card, I tell him that my card is missing. He tells me that he's going to help me look for it. Remember the camera? The camera, he said the same thing. He's going to help me look for it. Maybe I misplaced. And then I tell him that my money has been withdrawn from my account. He said, somebody cloned your card, babe. I'm like, this one thinks I'm fooling around. Now it becomes obvious that it was him all along who was stealing my stuff. Things have been going missing in my house because of him. I was losing stuff. I thought I had misplaced stuff. No, things had been stolen by him. So I let this go. I tell people, and I was like, play safe, play as if you don't know anything, what, and then we're going to get him one day, we're going to have him, we're going to visit him, and plead with him to have you, to have him tell us where your things are, have they been pawned, what not. And let me tell you something about my instincts. Again, the ones that I did not listen to. Something was telling me this guy was on drugs. I had nothing to base that suspicion on. Two, something had told me that this guy has been to prison. Again, I had nothing to base that suspicion on, but just this reoccurring, I don't even know how to explain it, that I just feel that that's about this person, and I would ignore it. I'd ask him and he'd tell me no, wara. And once upon a time, he started telling me a story that, that he didn't even complete, telling me that, once upon a time he was involved with the wrong gang, and somewhere in between he managed to dribble me, because this guy was good with words. It dribbled me that, we went off topic and never went back to the topic. So, my sister's boyfriend's jacket never came back. We keep on getting stories. The nanny stole it. So they had two people helping at their house. His sister had been home. His sister has her his sister, even though she has her own apartment, had just gotten a baby girl, and had come back home, So they had a nanny, and then they for her sister, and then they had a cleaner, somebody who helps with cleaning the house. And she would tell me no as the cleaner. And there were just so many stories regarding this guy that she ended up not knowing what to believe. Sharp. So one thing about me, I will date people that use umuti, and if you don't believe umuti works, ask me. And umuti works for them. This guy, each time my friends would plan to come, something would happen. One day they were like 5 minutes away. They had a tire pump that, by the time that they were finished, it was just too late to come to my house. They needed to go back home straight away. Nothing happens. And then this is the straw that broke the camel's back. Valentine's Day. We plan on going out and, celebrating this Valentine's Day. And Valentine's Day was on a Friday that day. I come looking shush. This guy not come in shorts and looking like a hobo. And obviously this guy had studied me. I go so mad. Like, it's Valentine's, what we had planned. Where are you going to go with you looking like that? And then he's like, I'm going to go home and change. And I'm like, at what time? I'm here already. I can't go to your house. And he's like, because yes, I haven't introduced you to my house, my family, my mother, won't take it won't take it nicely if I just come with you. So you'll have to wait for me. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm returning. I'm going back home. So I go back home from a failed Valentine's date. Oh, one thing, two things that I need to note before this is there was a day, in between, after I knew that he was the one stealing, that he had showed me, some narcissistic acts, or rather it wasn't narcissistic after that, it was just him being broke and once coming, because my place had become a warehouse from him, whereby he takes stock, or he had where else do people stock? A wholesaler, whereby he takes stock and goes to sell for his drug use. I'll tell you how I found out. I finally find out that he was using drugs. this time I was out with my male friends, and he was forcing me to come back home so that he can come. And this wasn't taken lightly. He wanted a video call. I mean, like, I think I did do a video call, but he was like, go back home. I am coming. I am on my way. I was like, go home. I mean, I'm not home. So fine. He later apologized for that. And that's how you know drug addicts will play you. Drug addicts are masterminds. So, at some point, I remember locking him in the house. Oh, I did say that I locked him in the house because I just didn't trust. Things were just missing. I remember I had played the lottery once, had a lotto ticket, and he asked, "Oh, so now you're playing lotto?" And I'm like, "What do you expect?" Again, I need to replace things that are missing from this house because I keep losing things. So back to after Valentine's. So obviously after a failed Valentine's date, I go home, I'm angry, we're not speaking, what. He calls me the following day. He no longer has a phone. Guys, wait. What did he do with the money that he stole from me? That will come back. Hey, I'll come back to that after this Valentine's. So the following day after Valentine's, he decides that he's going to come, he's going to apologize to me. He's going to come. He comes empty-handed, by the way. I'm an understanding girlfriend, and he comes with an old jean that's bigger than him, that he saw that, obviously I had a machine because of my side hustle. And he then says to me that I need to, can I please sew them? Then I tell him that no, there's a special needle for sewing jeans, and I don't have this needle. He's like, no, this jean is very light. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to risk that. I'm not going to use my machine, because should it break, you're not going to replace it. I think this guy had seen what I was up to here. The following day, and nothing happened between us that day. The following day, I leave, we've made peace, and he promises me that he's just, to make peace, I'm going to meet his family. He's going to call his mother. He's going to tell his mother that, I'm coming. We're going to have lunch. It's just that, again, his mother prefers to know the people that are coming to her house, to know of the people are coming to her place. So she can't just come. I can't just go there unannounced. I understand. That was a Sunday. Did I not wait for 3 days until I got worried, and I just wanted to know, is he safe? What happened? And don't ask me why am I worried about a person that was stealing from me. But let's go back to what he used his money, the money that I went, that he stole from me, the cash that he stole from me, the 4,000 plus that he stole from me. The first thing is, remember that he said his cousin dropped him off and is going to pick him up. All of a sudden, a message has come that he needs to go to Spa. He has a deal with Spa, and he takes an Uber. Right? He requests, where did you get the money from when yesterday you couldn't even give me 30 rands? Okay, fine. He comes back with the new phone. So he had apparently pawned the phone that I made him using, and that was a phone. I learned that was a phone that was given to him by his mom not so long ago, not so long before we met. And then he pawned the phone, stole another phone from his other girlfriend. So when he stole this money, he returned that phone from his girlfriend, and took my money, bought himself a new phone, a chipinyana phone, that at least goes to WhatsApp. And what else? And he bought himself t-shirts, and then the rest I think he used it on drugs. Then 3 days pass off, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, after Valentine's now, I called the lady, his phone is not going through. He told me he returned his phone because now he was having limited access to my place. And now, remember, I'm the one coming to meet him because I'm just losing stuff day in and day out. And from there, so I think he also pawned this phone or sold it just for drug money. Fine. So he's the only one that contacts me. He contacts me. I mean, but so his phone is not going through for those reasons. And the last time he called me, he called me using the landline. So I called the landline. His mother picks up, and he's like, as far as I know, that guy is with his girlfriend in Kempton Park. Who is in Kempton Park? Who is obviously me. So he left on Valentine's Day saying he's going to spend the Valentine's weekend with his girlfriend from Kempton Park. And I'm like, I didn't even see him. Yes, I saw him for about 4 or 5 minutes on Valentine's Day. It didn't go well. And they said, tell me, well, we haven't seen him ever since. And this is the day that I will learn of who I was dating. I was dating a drug addict. So I think I did ask this, and they were like, his mom was like, I've always wanted to meet you. I've asked him, if he could invite you over because I needed to warn you. Because at the end of the day, when things don't go well, I'm the one that, that is contacted because of his mother is, quite, she's in good standing. She's, kind of wealthy. There's a word, man. It starts with the pro and it's not coming to my head, but fine. So he always makes excuses with that. What my mom does, my mom that. So it's easy to trace his mom. And that's how the problems that he makes on the outside come back to his mother. So his mom asked that if we meet, and that's when I was told that he's on drugs. He tells me that his family can't even put a cell phone like this and blink, because you're blinking, that cell phone is gone, he's gone. That each room is always locked. The cupboards are locked because he takes everything and steals it. He's been to more than 8 in the past 10 years. He's been to more than 8 rehab centers. He seems like he's okay. He's stolen from his his own home. This guy has even stolen from his own kid. That was the person that I was dealing with. And yeah, what else? Stole from his own kid, and stole from his sister, steals from basically everyone. And this is what he does. So I was just another one of his victims, of his many victims, because what he makes sure he does is that he gets you to trust him, like what he did with me. Spends his every free moment with me, when all he's interested in is stealing from me. He builds trust. When he trusts you, when you trust him, then that's when he gets you. For example, he tells me there was this lady who was renting with someone else, a person that, that lady worked for a retail store, and got that house, got that guy, got that girl to give him his house keys when he went to drop her off And he says to her, I forgot my phone. Give me your keys. Let me go fetch them. Let me go fetch my phone, and then I'm going to return your keys. When girlfriend, he does exactly that. He returns the keys. But when girlfriend comes back, there is nothing in the house. He has cleaned his own home of everything when his mother went overseas on a business trip. He has become a hobo. Hence, I say in the next video that's going to come after this, I highly suspect that the people that went almost scammed me of my mobile kitchen were working with him or were sent by him. Take into consideration that the first time the person that called me by name. So it was then that his mother would, advise me to open a case, because you know what, it's better when he's in prison, her pretending to care about me and me buying this. It's better when he's in prison, because you know what, one day he will do this to the wrong people and they will kill him. I open a case. His mother does help us, find him, locate him, because he went, his mother didn't want him at her house anymore. So he said, rent, I will pay your rent. She bought her a fridge, she bought her a bed, and she said, leave my house. Was that guy not chased from that new place where the mother rented for him at? He was, because apparently within a week, and this was within a week, actually within days, 5 days I think, because they moved in today. The following day his mother went and bought him groceries, and then 4 days later his mother went to check on him, and then she was told that the landlord said she had to chase him because there were plus 5 people living in one room and they were all hobos. They just did not look. So he took his street mates to go stay with him at this place. And I needed to find him. I don't know why I needed to find him, why I thought there was ever a chance of recovering whatever he had stole from me or seeing him. I go to Midrand. I found out where he buys his. So he was on the Rock. Never even knew what the Rock is. I found out that time. He was on the Rock, and the Rock is very expensive, so that's why he has to steal. I also had found out that the car that I was driving, the BMW 1 Series, was a gift from his mom, because these rich kids, hey, the privileges they get. His mom had bought him that car as a congratulations present for coming out of rehab. So the time that he says he was abroad, he was in fact in rehabilitation center for drug use. And because rich kid vibes, to come out, his mother bought him a BMW. So also the thingy, the apartment, yes, he does have an apartment. However, that apartment needed to be rented off at that time. I think it was being sold, and he wanted to sell it himself because the title deed was on his name. It was his, but because his rich kids again, his mother had bought him this house, both his sister, just to set them off in life. So what this woman would do, should buy, her kids a house, their car, and set them up with businesses, and then, she could. I think any parents would do that, if they could. And this one, would misuse. For example, the business that he was left onto him was a contract with 6 schools in the township. for nutrition. He couldn't do that for a month. Instead, he took the money. He was eating, like he was spending the money on himself recklessly until, the businesses didn't work. I also, yeah. So just I learned that he had also stolen about 28 property worth of the 28 million from his mom's business. So his mom had a warehouse where she stored, but I don't think I want to say what business she had, but she had 28 with million rand stock that obviously he went to the security as the boss's son. What could the security do or say? With a truck, loaded everything, sold it to the Pakistanis for little money, never came back home. When the money ran out, he went to become a hobo. He was later found after 6 months in being in the street. Even in my case, I think he went missing for about 4 months, that his parents did not know where he was. And he claimed he had a lot of stories. So I ended up losing about 50,000 rands worth of stuff from this guy that I did not lose. That I did not notice at first. Some things that I thought were hidden. I also suspect that this guy, since I sleep, and when I sleep I'm a deep sleeper, I think in my sleep he would just, things were hid in the other room. I had bought him to go into the other room. Things that, when it was locked down, I looked for, like I had cigarettes and I wanted to sell them. They were all gone. He had, when I wasn't bathing with him, when I was taking a shower, he would just make sure he searches the house, every single corner, every single drawer, everything, to see what valuable could he take. My life's worth of, what was in my hard drive, gone. If my laptop wasn't always in use before me, it would have gone. So I learned what this guy, and I said that I got off lightly, was because what I learned is that this is what this guy does for a living. He finds women that, can, maintain themselves and are doing quite reasonably to very well in life. He charms them and into trusting him. Once you trust him, he gets you to leave his key with him, and you come back, the house is empty. So he's also good with words. So he'll be able to dribble himself out with the securities, probably I don't know how he would do this, found the woman to say that when they call her, to say, yes, that's my boyfriend. I asked him to pack, I'm moving out. I've already cleared it out with, I don't know how he did it, but that's the kind of guy that I was dating. I was swindled, and I'm lucky that my apartment still had furniture. I was told I got off very, very lightly. And yes, I went to open the case, and obviously that's when I'm saying that, that's where I said that, the justice system just unfortunately doesn't work for me, because this guy was, the case was withdrawn rather, because I did not see him take anything, and nothing was found in his possession. And to close this, let me tell you what I found when I went there to his, where he sells drugs. Guys, his friends are hobos. I think I'll insert a picture to show you that I started judging myself. However, I did end up forgiving myself considering the fact that, you know, he had logged into his email using my laptop and never logged off, so I could log in. Guys, this person had fraudulently loaned money from Standard Bank, and Standard Bank had loaned a large sum of money to a person that has never worked a day in his life. So who was I to foresee that this guy is never going to, you know, that this guy is a thief, that this guy is going to scam me, that this guy is going to swindle me? So we come to the end of this video. Cheers, and thank you guys for watching till the end. Do kindly subscribe. Please do like this video. Please share your stories of how you were swindled via a dating app, or anyhow how you've been used by your love partner or your person when you thought you found love, but the person was actually there to work. Until my next upload, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.